We heard the alarm, we heard the bell go off, Teach, so we knew what time to be here.
Steve, you didn't say there was gonna be math involved today, what is that?
Oh, you don't have to do that.
I'm waiting for Shores. Shores is taking their sweet precious time. They may have a little construction going on there, so. Gonna leave it. That's the best stuff.
No. I'm just take a seat when your item comes up. I'll let you know. Thank you. Agenda. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you.
All right, 6 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Dalton Township Planning Commission for August 31st, 6 PM. We'll do a roll call here. Dave, I am here. Jesse? Here. Nick? Here. Lee?
Here.
John?
Here.
Casey?
Here.
And Todd?
Here.
All right. We move on to approval of the minutes. You guys had a chance to review that.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, all those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passed. All right, we are going to open up public comment. This is not for the items. Oh, okay, all right. Good call. All right, is there anything to add to the agenda for tonight?
To approve the agenda.
Yeah.
3A.
We'll do a 3A. Is there anything, nothing, just what's written in or pretty much as it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All right, we have that. Everyone in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're going to open up public comment. This is public comment not specific to the items that are farther down in the agenda. We will do public comment for that also. But is there any public comment? If anyone would like to stand, you have 3 minutes, then you can stand up, you can sing, you can, whatever you would like to do. Take your 3 minutes.
Thank you, buddy.
I'll open the public comment up at 6:02. Open twice. We will close at 6:02. staff report. You have a chance to review that, those items we have for tonight. I don't think anything changes on any of those. All right, and the July 12th board meeting notes, those are available in there also. All right, we'll move on to items for public hearing tonight. So the first one we will be having public hearing on is the public hearing to amend the sign ordinance. If you have a chance, if you didn't get a chance to pick up one of the packets there, it's the new ordinance is listed in there. We'll open up the public comment for the sign ordinance at 6:03. Anyone like to make a comment? All right, we will close the public comment at 6:03. All right, board members, is there anything anyone would like to add on this, or anything that we covered last meeting? Was everything we had discussed? Is there anyone like to make a motion? Again, this is just to send it forward to the board.
I make a motion to approve sending the amended sign ordinance.
Support.
All right, we will do a roll call vote on this. Dave, yes. Jesse?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Casey?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
All right, that is going forward. All right, now we're going to open up the public hearing on the proposed boat dealer at 3207 Whitehall Road. We'll open that up at 6:05. And if we could start with, are the potential owners for that, are they here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you'd like to step up to the microphone,
Okay.
just kind of give us a chance to, everyone, overview kind of what you're looking for here.
So I own and operate the Freedom Boat Club of West Michigan, and we are part of a franchise that has over 314 locations throughout the world. And we have gotten to the point for here in West Michigan, I operate on White Lake, Muskegon Lake, and Spring Lake, and we have planning additions to expand. And we've gotten now to the point where we have outgrown our local marina facilities for the purposes of taking delivery, prepping, maintaining, and storing our own vessels, because our fleet continues to grow. It's a membership-based club, so the more members that join, the more boats we buy for the members to use. And we have now gotten to the capacity to where it makes perfect sense to have our own facility, to where we almost are operating as a boat dealership, because we are taking boats in brand new directly from the dealers. We're getting them prepped. Pretty much, it's very quiet in the summer, and then the winter's more for inside storage and maintenance and getting them fixed and repaired and waxed for the next season, as well as some selling off of the boats after we retire every boat after its third or fourth year of use. So there would be some secondary market sales. And we have found the property located at 3207, and it fits our needs absolutely perfectly. I think we could bring a tremendous amount of aesthetics to the property itself as far as cleaning it up and doing some landscaping and some nice signage and some nice lighting. And I've lived between White Lake with a family cottage since the 70s and Grand Haven and Spring Lake. I go by there I don't know how many times a week. And it's just kind of, it's a property that we, that caught our eye, that certainly suits our needs. And in talking with Steve, we wanted to be fully transparent with what our intentions are to do there. Thus, the recommendation was to go under the classification of a boat dealer, so I wouldn't be limited as we continue to grow and I had more boats on the ground. I'd love to answer any questions if anyone has them.
Knowing a little bit about the owner of the property that butts up to that, not well or anything, just know that he's there. What is the relationship like there, and do you foresee any conflict there, or is it all?
I have met Frank Cruz very briefly last week. He, I think, obviously fell on some hard times and the property was taken over by a bank. I have no issue with him operating or whatever he's doing. We are certainly in the process of just completing a phase 1 study and we're getting an environmental baseline assessment done, almost for my protection, to know what's there and what has been there, and so we can also prove going forward that we're not going to contribute to anything that may have already been there. That's a contingency that I made on my purchase agreement. I don't know what his long-term plan is. I'm not going to speculate. I don't know him well enough. He seems like a very nice guy, but it wouldn't be something I wouldn't be willing to overlook if you ever were ever to vacate that property as well. Just to kind of take it over, clean it up. I don't know that I would ever even need that much space, but you know, everything happens for a reason, and it would be just too early or inappropriate for me to speculate. However, it'd be something we would consider.
One of the questions I know we had in the work session that we had was just on outside storage. Will there be much as far as outside storage of boats, or is it?
No, really, from what you see from the road, I don't foresee really much outside storage other than possible drop-offs until everything's ready to go inside. There's a tremendous amount of property behind the farthest building with a 10-foot steel parameter wall going around the back and a gate. So essentially, from what you would see from Whitehall Road, would only be just a cleaner picture of what you have. It wouldn't look like a storage lot. I wouldn't want it to look like that. I don't think the township would want it to look like that. I don't have any intentions to do that. I would reserve the right to potentially put a boat out there on display if it was for sale, but, you know, just to attract some attention, but I'm not looking to turn it into a used storage or anything like that, if you will. And I'm not knocking used storage. I use storage units all the time, but, you know, I don't foresee that as being, that's not the attractive part of the property. It's what's there as far as the building structures and the openness that they have of the floor plans inside, and the fact that there is space out back that is not only secure, but it's not visible from the road.
Board have any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, at 6:10, we will open up the public comment portion of this. Is there anyone that would like to make a comment about this particular situation? They're really short and to the point tonight on these. All right, we will, seeing no comments, we will close the public comment at 6:10. Okay, board, any conversation, anything?
Yeah.
Steve, can we approve the special use without approving the site plans? Because honestly, with the time frame that we had, I myself haven't reviewed any of the site plans that I was able to pick up Monday morning and be here tonight. There's just no time. So I personally have not reviewed any of them, but I'm curious if we can approve special use.
I believe you can approve the special use, we just need to have a site plan approved before,
I mean, in this situation, I mean, pretty much what's there is there, but to me, it's, I didn't get a chance to look at them, see if they're complete or not. And I know special uses sometimes for owners can hold things up because they don't want to go too far without knowing they're gonna get a special use and then just be able to move over and understand them.
Is that secondary driveway already in place there? So there's, to the north, so you have the main gate that comes in, the primary drive, and then on the north.
We labeled it a secondary drive. Do you want me to go back up there?
No, you're
You can
fine.
there.
So we labeled it a secondary drive just by mirror of the fact that there's a gate there already in place.
Okay,
So
I didn't know there was a gate there.
No, the gate's there, so we called it a drive. I mean, I guess you could use the backup or a turnaround, but the primary drive is certainly
Yep.
in there. And to the point of the site plan, we have no intention of doing anything different than what's already there. What's there is what's there, and that's what fits underneath perfectly, with no intention of expanding, changing, altering, pouring new paths, other than upgraded landscape and cleanup.
Yeah.
For aesthetics, and obvious reasons, that's all we intend or need to do. It's actually quite a bit more than what we need for now, but certainly sets us up for some more growth.
Yep, no, I understand, thank you.
So you can approve this special use contingent on a site plan being reviewed.
Go ahead.
Could I ask a question about the business model a little bit?
Sure.
How are these boats titled? Are they you, the franchisee, or?
No, I own all the boats. It's boat sharing. It's no different than you all buying a boat together and hiring a management company to take care of it, clean it, maintain it, and store it. It's just at a much larger scale.
You own them?
Yes.
And if I was a customer, I would buy a year membership sort of thing, or I guess I'm a little,
So we like to describe it as a country club on water, if you will.
Right.
There's a one-time initiation to join the club, and then you pay monthly dues. As long as you're current with your dues, you have unlimited use of all the boats locally and reciprocal use to every boat in the world around the country.
is your fleet in the water constantly in the summer?
Yeah, everything's in slips.
So you're not going back and forth to the warehouse or?
No, just every 100 hours, we bring one in for maintenance, so we
Yeah.
may take delivery of a new
Okay.
one, but it's more, it really, the busiest times are launch season, April, early May, and then all out in October, and then
Right.
it's pretty quiet as far as the property's concerned.
How do you handle used oil?
That's all with recycled drums, and we have found environmentally through best practices of all of our clubs all over the world, we actually don't even deal with drums. We deal with, we negotiate price to have oil delivered to us by the gallon. It's a lot cleaner, it's a lot safer.
Right.
It's a lot easier to dispose of and recycle the plastic jugs.
Yeah, great.
And everything else is just through recycled disposable oil with a catch basin underneath it.
Okay, thank you.
Casey, do you have a question?
No, I was just gonna say, I didn't see anything, I did review the site plan, and the only thing that gave me pause was all the existing stuff, the variances that were already obtained. I didn't really see any changes, not that that makes you feel better, Jesse, but.
Makes me feel better.
Thank you.
Oh, I had one other question. Describe your geography as a franchisee. Do you have certain rights to certain geography? I'm sure you probably do.
Yeah, thanks for that question. So we have protected territories. So my
Right.
territory is essentially Port Sheldon up through Rothbury with first rights of refusal,
Oh, okay.
anything north of there.
Wow.
So if somebody wants to come in and talk about Pentwater, Ludington, which we're already exploring, which is it's not public knowledge, we continue to expand anywhere we can find marina space and access.
So you don't really service the small inland lakes, it sounds like a twin lake, you wouldn't.
No. You need a membership base where you could access a marina where the boats are accessible, they're ready to go, they're full of gas, they're clean, everything's done. So 100% of our members,
So
voting time is voting.
you maintain relationships of your choosing with certain marinas?
Correct.
Yeah, okay, very good, thank you.
What do we need, Dave?
Well, we have to make a decision here. This is for the special use, which we were just informed we can do. This is under two things tonight. First is special use, and the next one is the site plan. So this is to look at as the special use, if we feel this fits that need. We would need then just for someone to make the motion and we give approval, and we can, or we can deny it. Is there anything anyone has questions on or anything?
Are you on city sewer there? Or something?
Yes.
City, and we
We're gonna hook up to water.
and we have to, we already plan on, without question, it's actually part of the deal where we are gonna hook into the new-ish pipeline that going along this Whitehall Road base for. Which, given it was a paint factory prior, I had to do that anyway.
All right, does anyone at this point wish to make the motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the special use for the boat dealer at 3207 Whitehall.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, Tom. All right, let's go ahead and take a roll call. Dave, I will say yes. Jesse?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Casey?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
All right, we're set. That does pass. All right, we're moving on to unfinished, which is the proposed ground-mounted solar array at 1682, and I did see someone was here for that. All right, if you'd like to step up and if there's some questions.
You guys just want me to give you like a rundown of what's going on there? It looks like, I think everybody's probably got the design plans.
Yes.
And all that. We, I think, came through one time and had to back it up and change the location a little bit, which we found actually probably a better spot for the customer in the long run anyway, so.
And it's 32 ground-mounted solar modules.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the one question we had is, when we went out and did the site visit, there is a gas line, natural gas line. Is that taking that into consideration? Have you done where the footprints are, because there was flags out for the line, and then there was also for where the mounted units were gonna go. And that is meeting with all of the specifications as far as the gas line, it's not over the gas line or anything?
Correct, and then there was also the power lines above.
Okay.
So we also have to give them right away to those power lines as well. So that's what made this a shuffle around job, was there was a few different things that we were working against. But it looked like we beat everything with this spot here, avoiding the power lines, avoiding the gas line, and getting the setback from the house.
And the side setback goes beyond that pole that's there, the telephone pole. There's a power line pole that goes through there. The owner, when we were out there, said he thought that's where the property line ended. It was like, because you had to have a setback there. And I think he met, with your drawings anyways, it appeared that we were within the setback.
Yeah, we're actually more within, with the new location as well.
Okay.
Yep,
All right.
that moved it in, and it's moved it east and north.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that was the issue, was it was in front of the house originally.
Yep.
Okay, so now that's, okay, got you.
Do you know exactly where that lot line is that runs north-south? The owner was assuming it was the light pole.
So
They
there,
didn't have a survey.
we do a GIS survey of the property line, and so that's where we get our measurements from. And that should be in the layout there. They should have the aerial GIS
Okay.
location there with all the distances.
Yeah, I'm just curious where that ended up. Because there was no way it was 40 feet, but your first group of panels were very close to what he called the lot line, being that light pole.
Yeah,
So-
the northwest corner, kind of. Is that where you're-
That's right,
Yeah,
right.
yep. Yeah, there was more than one issue with that first spot, for sure. But it was,
Okay. You have some,
It fit their personal needs a little bit better.
so you,
That spot did.
have you spoken to the gas company on?
Yeah, we
where
did
it's
Miss
going?
Dig out there as well.
He said the gas company was
Very, very.
not very helpful or polite even for that matter.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
They've got their work that they have to do, obviously, with that, if something goes down, or, you know,
Right.
same with the power lines.
Sure.
You know, we can't,
Yeah, yeah.
that
Yeah.
has a lot to do with many, many people down the road there, so,
Mhm.
we're very used to negotiating and moving around those types of things.
Got it.
With ground mounts, we do, in the state of Michigan, we do about 200 to 300 solar
Yeah.
systems. In general, about half of them are ground mounts.
Yeah, okay, very nice.
Yeah, we're partnered with the Detroit Lions, we've done 2 sets of solar systems on Ford Field down in Detroit, and this is definitely a growing popularity item. Just on my way here, one of my employees sent me a picture of a bill, and consumers is charging $1 a kilowatt during critical peak time, which wasn't even in their distribution letter that they sent out at the beginning of the year. So, and some people use 1,000, 2,000 kilowatts in a month, and they're charging $1 per kilowatt. So it can get really, really expensive, especially here this summer.
Any other questions? All right, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Could you please state your name?
Graham Gardner.
Thank you.
It looks like the original concerns to the new drawing, I think were in compliance with the things that we needed to have them change. It looks like those are changed, and that's something that concerns, and addressed all those with the gas line and everything else. Anyone have any other comments or concerns?
Does there need to be documentation in regards to the gas company and overhead power lines in that situation, or is it the responsibility fall on?
That is a very good question.
Yeah, it is. Graham, do you guys have to have any documentation in regards to the gas company stating that where that location is going to be is approved by them and it's good to go, same as the overhead power lines, or is it like, we talk to them, we're good, don't have anything to worry about?
So I would imagine that there's just email consent on that. It's not necessarily in my parameter of on that side of it. I'm more of a sales side than an install or side, but there's definitely open communication with that, whether it's written consent or verbal consent through email or however they do that.
Okay, thank you. That's the only question I had. Other than that, it's fine to me.
It really matters because both of those utility companies are gonna have a deeded easement. And that deeded easement is going to state that you can't have structures or anything else within that easement. So if they let chances to put one there, the gas company comes in and rips it out, it's in their way.
As long as they don't come to my house looking for me, because I said yes.
We go right there. If he needs spelling of his name, it's right on there.
We don't know the details almost.
Exactly.
So,
That's what we were concerned about. We really don't have anything in this to address any of
right.
those things. So I guess at this point, I think everything that's been presented, if we are okay with that, we just need someone to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve SU 21-08, proposed ground-mounted solar array at 1682 Lake.
And do we have support?
Support.
Take my pick. All right, let's go ahead and take a roll call vote on this one. Todd?
Yep.
Casey?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Jesse?
Yes.
And Dave, yes. So that's out that. All right, we are going to move on to new business. And we are rounding back to the, first one will be 3207 to the tolls. is there anything you need to add as far as your site plan, if you'd like to explain, or we can ask you questions as we move along if that's.
Yeah, no, again, my name is Drew Goss, and I appreciate you looking at this. I just submitted pretty much what we would do to clean up what is there and existing. We don't have any intention of changing anything within the site itself. As I stated before, it quite frankly fits our needs perfectly. Not only with the building structures and how they are designed, but also the fact that there's a secure perimeter wall out back that also blocks and protects any storage unit, boats that we would have. It's not necessarily visible eye candy from the road. We would just love the opportunity and be more than happy to be there and also represent the property to its finest.
I guess I had one question on the south property line. Is that a fence gonna be going up, or is that just, it says variance obtained, is that you obtaining it, or has that already been obtained?
They already got it. It's because the buildings are 5 feet from the property line, and they have a variance for it.
Okay.
Now, I would, as far as a fence goes, yes, at some point I would like to put a fence, but I don't want to go to the cost of putting a fence if there might be an opportunity to acquire the space. So in the meantime, would I be willing to, would I consider, getting some really nice big planters and putting some pine trees down the middle to kind of separate right on that property line? I think it would look really good too. In lieu of which they could then be repositioned on property for further use. But right now there is, just that property line, the variance with no existing fence.
Actually, I just wanted to.
Yeah, no,
You see a
thanks for
line, you
asking.
see a line on.
Right, no, thanks for asking.
All right.
So Drew, that back building, the furthest one that has the service bay in it, right?
Correct.
Is there, you talked about changing oil and stuff. Was that space already, and you talked about OSHA in here too, do you know, is that up to code as far as?
In the back, there's no drains in there. In the front building where there was paint, we have found in our phase 1 that there are drains. We were thinking about running a smoke study on it to see where they are actually draining to. That's more of a storage facility for us. The service would be in a contained back area that doesn't have any floor drainage, that's where any spillage is directly contained there. But as far as, all we simply do is run lower unit and oil, and it's all recyclable in the big, 5x5 canisters that people come and use them to heat their, homes during the winter.
Yeah.
Really, really low mess for what we do. We don't do any bottom painting. Obviously thank God, being here in freshwater, where some of my southern clubs, they have to bottom paint every one of their vessels. Other than that, just your simple, boat soap and water.
I guess the thing to look at on this is a property that's definitely gone through, and probably will go through additional changes, so it sounds like we may need, fits their needs, and it is existing buildings, and there are, I guess on the drawings now, there is the locations for parking. Does the parking have to be, it states parking, it does not have to be lined parking, does it?
It's a gravel lot.
Yeah, basically a Dolomite gravel lot with lots of weeds, which we get rid of.
You just have to designate parking. I know in some of them you have to have the spaces, handicap parking, and there is a spot there.
They just need to have the minimum dimensions of.
Okay. That's what I was trying to figure out, like, how would you?
10 by 18 is the minimum.
It is existing.
Trash locations there in the back.
Yeah, I positioned the dumpster to be out of sight, out of mind, behind the first building.
Is there any overhead power between those two buildings?
No, nothing.
Cool.
signage would then go on the front building?
Yeah, we just, standard logo that's on my truck out there, it's just a standard Freedom Boat Club, it's it's not anything that I can deviate from. It's all protected from corporate, we're actually owned by Brunswick Corporation at the corporate level, so we have some pretty strict rules to follow ourselves.
Your office in the front, would you use that as a sales office? Would clients come to the building at all? Or is this online?
No, this is more, when I say office, I mean probably a mechanic's office. And if, if someone was dropping off a boat or, needed some work done on it, for purpose of service or maintenance. I don't foresee us running true retail out of this, but we did, apply to be under the boat dealership. So if, I didn't want anyone in this room or myself to have any gray area if I sold a boat on property, that wasn't part of it. So I wanted to kind of explain the whole picture of how we operate.
Who does the customer interact with and where are they located?
Our main offices are in Spring Lake at the Keenan Marina. We have a full-time year-round office where
Gotcha.
where we do sales. And the rest of the time, we have open houses at the marinas in the season.
That's the actual country club, in other words.
Yeah, I mean, we're literally selling the memberships. We operate out of Docker's Fish House. We have a building on property down on the water at the Crosswinds Marina. We actually have a floating office. It's a 38-foot houseboat that's a floating office.
Yeah.
And our main year-round 365 office is in Spring Lake at the Keenan Marina.
Okay. So this would act like a service center, an outpost.
Bingo. I mean, we're not bringing people there to close a deal.
Right, okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Of the 7 light fixtures that are shown on the print, which of them are existing and which are additional?
I'm sorry, I should have included that. What's existing, about 6 of them are existing. I'd say probably about 3 of them are working. And then on the additional one would be on the back side of the building where there's the secure, see if I can pull this up on there. So here's Whitehall Road, okay? You have lights here, here, and here existing already. You have a light here. I was looking to add a light back here where we would be doing storage, where that wall is, it's protected with some like motion lights or something. This does not seem to be operable, but the wiring is all there.
Okay.
So this is to make them all uniform and nice looking, LED, but it would be, these are existing and this would be new.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, any other questions? So we have, before us, we can either move ahead with the site plan, we can either deny it and then ask for some clarifications, or we can table it and bring it back next month, depending on feeling of the board. So is there anyone who would like to make a motion on any of this?
Yes, Steve, is it, you've probably looked at it more than a lot, whatever, I mean, does it meet are you satisfied? Satisfied with what's there? Is it enough information for that?
Yeah. At least 11 parking spaces.
Steve's been wonderful. I probably met with him 5 times. I went through every single checklist item, and it's just, I had come back a few times, which I welcome the opportunity to have that.
Yep.
So I thank you for that. I mean, it was, I didn't know what I didn't know, so, I wanted to try to overdo anything if I could.
Yep.
This is not our day job, so.
And nor, obviously, mine either.
Sometimes, we just have to make sure that checklist plus is really critical.
Yeah,
Make sure
yeah.
we can go, we've got those. We look at the redundancy in this process.
Yeah, I get it. 20 years from now, you want to know that list was submitted properly, and, when we're not around. Well, maybe not, maybe so, maybe not here.
He's gonna be the person people are gonna go to, something, the next board or whatever, if something comes up. It's the zoning administrator that's gonna be in the thick of it, really everything, so I just wanna make sure you're satisfied is all it's one of my questions. Which it seems like you've gone through it all.
Yeah, I think everything is there, it's a matter of, are you satisfied?
Good,
Do you think
yeah,
that's
we're good with
appropriate?
what you, yeah, I just wanted to know your.
All right, so we sit with either a motion for one of the three, is there?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the site plan for 3207 Whitehall Road.
Good support?
I'll support.
All right. Let's go ahead and take a vote here. Todd?
Yes.
Casey?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Jesse? No. Dave? Yes. All right. It has been passed.
Thank you very much.
We're going to move on to site plan for 3020 Central.
Thank you.
State your name, what's your permit, I'm joking. You look nervous, so I thought.
My name's Trevor Deeman, I own Schultz Septic Service. We lost a building in a fire a couple months ago and we're looking to rebuild. Same size building, just turning at 90 degrees to use the existing property a little better. We're gonna reuse the existing well and septic system. It's basically a storage building for some trucks.
It's kind of a popular area for that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why do you say that? There's just a lot of excavation and garbage companies and septic trucks and things rolling down.
Yep, yeah, property, she built the barn originally back in early 2000s, so it's been there and I bought it, and we had a fire and it's now onto this.
All right, check.
It's also in section 18 of the zoning ordinance. Nope, section 17, I'm sorry.
17.5B.
17.5B.
Steve, did you give them the updated site plan by chance?
Yeah.
I see a lot of the old
Site
stuff.
plan.
Okay. The updated one has the parking on, that was required, the 2 parking spots.
Says you've been operating out of that building prior to the fire since 2021. So that site's new for your business? So
Yes, I bought an existing septic business that's been operating there since, or they use it as storage since early 2000. And the business is right on my house, as far as the office and
Yeah.
stuff, so.
Sure, okay.
So Todd, what we're trying to do is just rotate and get one extra stall that way. From conversation with Steven, we could build it as was without coming to planning with 40 wide versus 50 wide.
Yeah.
But we rotate that 90 degrees, it allows us one more stall. So you can pull another truck into the building, makes better use of the building.
It says you have to have on the site plan refuse and service areas. Am I not seeing that?
Steven said we don't have to do it because we won't have a dumpster there.
That was the question, if you don't
Yes.
have that.
And that's, you can waive or
Okay.
make conditions.
Yeah, because it's not really an operating business. It's really just parking the trucks in there at night, picking them up in the morning, type of thing.
How large an area do you service?
All of West Michigan, anywhere from West Olive up to Rothbury. And out to Fremont, mainly the existing area.
We're septic intensive around here.
Yeah, we are at Dalton Township.
You're just gonna have the one light over the service door?
But we bring your emergency light on all sides.
There's actually one on the service overhead on the front. Yeah. From my understanding, that's all that's required, but we need to add lighting anytime. Right,
See, that's the size print we don't need it.
Is it like this?
My eyes just don't see that.
I understand.
One bathroom?
Yep.
I thought I seen something on your heat. What did you have listed here? It's so small, I can't read it.
It's an overhead Resner.
Okay, we're making you nervous, stand there, so you can go ahead and sit down while we fumble.
No, keep sticking there.
Sit there, go, man, we're all in chairs and.
I can call out my way home and say, I'm in trouble. Just for 28 minutes. You only got 2 sweat drops.
Those sign ordinance things that they were.
Existing vegetation, any trees or anything you guys gotta take down in order to put this up?
No,
Rotation?
we do not. We may take a couple down because of damage from the fire. But there's, to answer your question, there's nothing has to be removed.
There was a burned vehicle to the side.
There is, yeah.
That should be getting removed any day.
Insurance company's coming to get it.
Gotcha.
They're a little slower, yeah.
On the key, it says fire hydrant inside the building. Is that a fire extinguisher? I was like, makes more sense that way, thank you.
Michael Bell, right?
Knowing the history of that space, I make sure there's.
I mean, I wouldn't want to connect to it inside the building, no.
Even though it'll be no good once it starts rolling.
And do you have a kind of a completion date that you're looking for on the project?
6 months.
6 months. It really wasn't my
Do you agree?
question, I was just what I was making sure about.
Oh, okay. We liked it before, but it's taken us 2 months to get here.
All right, any other questions?
I think so.
You put a sign in, Trevor?
No.
I think I asked enough.
Rob, appreciate it. You don't have any more? Is there anyone who would like to make a motion?
You can make every one of them, go for it.
I'll make a motion to approve SPR 21-06 at 3020 Central Road.
We have a support?
Support.
All right, we have support. All right, we'll take a roll call. Dave? Yes. Jesse?
No.
Nick?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Casey?
Yes.
And Todd?
Yes.
All right. Passes 6-2.
Thank you.
Thank you.
3 months.
Plus, I can next.
I've seen you work magic.
Yeah, a little ways to go yet, but we're getting there, one step at a time, right?
Rob needs a place to put all his crap.
I know, he's put a scope on it, right?
And we have the two that were added Sweeter Road and then. So we'll do Sweeter Road first.
If you guys are done, I'll be, you don't have to sit here and listen to us, it's okay. Yeah, unless you guys need to see us. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for your time.
Well. Is Jason here?
Yeah, would you like me to come up?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, thanks, you too.
Nope.
Hello.
Jason Hunter, my wife Chris, she and I are co-owners of the Hunter Company. We, this spring negotiated and purchased the property on Sweeter Road, which we felt was just a perfect fit for our intentions or hopes to start a Class A growing facility. We kind of work along the lines of being small, discreet, and secure. And that's been our focus throughout this process so far. We have a long road to go. We have a lot to work through with the state. And this is the first step of all.
So we went out to the property and there's existing, there's already culverts there, everything's set there, we saw it staked off. Everything seems to be staked off. Back to the property, and then going
Yes.
inside, you take the road back, and then where the blueberry fields are, that's where the building is going to.
Yeah, there's a mode path that I actually put in just for access, and it goes all the way to the back. But you may have noticed that tree growth in the front, prominent. We're actually going around the other side of it.
Okay.
We really like that spot, we like that growth there. We're intending to leave as much untouched as possible to beautiful property. We do have to remove some blueberries, only those that we would need to install the site itself. It does include a pond that you see. We've actually been talking with, the intention of that pond is to establish a geothermal for the facility itself. Heating a facility in that area can be challenging for a much more even distribution heat. The original plan for that pond was 300 by 100. We were speaking with the contractor. He decided, it really just comes down to water volume. So we shrunk the size of it to 200 by 100 and we went a little bit deeper. Checked out the well logs, counting, and it looks like there's clay at about 30 feet or so we're well clear of that. And the water table is certainly high enough in that area to maintain the health line.
Would this be your first grow operation?
Okay, yeah, we're brand.
Is there a timeline as far as from the time you start the paperwork on it to when if everything, that boxes are checked and you get everything met, what is the timeline on this?
Through the state?
Yeah, through the state.
Yeah, so it's a bit, it's a little bit of putting the cart before the horse here. We actually have to have a facility in place before we can even apply to the state because they require physical inspection within 60 days.
Ventilation and they have all.
Everything. Yeah. The list is very long, but in general what happens, we go through a pre-qualification first. That just establishes ownership, background checks and things of that nature. But then what needs to be supplied to the state is the business location plan, the first part of which is much like what you're looking at here, but then also a floor plan, which is extensive, and a security plan. And then from there, we're on our way to licensure through the state.
One of the big components for us is like on the site plan is the building itself, because they have some better specifics on it, specifications. If you have information on the building, I mean, I see the drawing on it.
Normally, there's things that include like the pitch of the roof and
Right.
wall height and that.
I am working with a builder on this, and been a little hard to lock down. But there's also a lot of requirements to the state on that. So the internal plan is we need to work with, yeah. There's just basically now going with an open floor kind of concept, but building in what's required.
And then for us, it needs, like, the location on the lot, exactly how far from the different lot lines. And you have a lot of property there, so I don't think it's gonna be a problem to be centrally located or whatever. But just having it to where you're placing it on the property, that's something that we need to have some specifics on that.
On the drawing.
Yeah, on the drawing.
If you have the amended version, those should be on.
Yeah, that's the,
Oh, there's an addendum that includes the site,
right.
the building site. That has some of those measures that we were talking about.
That one then, right?
That's, the next one, I believe has,
That's at the lot size, and you're gonna be working a distance from, distance from.
Yeah.
there is an amended version that has the distance to property line.
I see it here.
This is probably gonna have to be gated, I would guess.
Yeah,
At
well,
least fenced in some respect.
as far as security, there's very distinct, very significant, and I guess distinct requirements. There's the locking systems, an alarm system, video surveillance is huge on the property. And then, upon inspection, they may require even fencing. I didn't include it on the site plan because it doesn't look like we would, given the location. But, the state might, they could absolutely require it. I suspect that would be a fenced area around the building.
Do you have any insight as to what the state generally likes? I mean, do they like a bunker out in the middle of the open for all eyes to see, or hidden in a abandoned blueberry patch in the woods? I can see advantages either way.
It's like,
Like, are you following a script that you've seen somebody else already, establish, or?
It goes across the board.
Yeah,
We're trying to.
yeah. It's a cool piece of
Go our
property.
way, and really take care of all these requirements.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a bit, as far as the timeline, in a perfect world, excavation would be first, and, my excavator, we love to have that done before winter. And then, building in the spring, but then licensing, we'd be lucky to be done by summer and fall
Yeah.
and start operating.
Is there an actual address for that property?
It hasn't been established.
Okay, that's
Right, notice that. The lot shows up on our township map, I noticed incidentally, but there's no address.
Yeah. Hey, we talked on the phone about that, I believe,
Yes,
that would be established if this were approved.
yes, once zoning is approved, then we would issue an address. We could,
Do the 6 employees include husband and wife owners, or?
I would call it 6, a maximum
Okay,
for the foreseeable future,
yeah.
probably quite a bit less. We intend to start very slowly and work towards it. Class A is under plans, we don't see that starting out that. It's gonna take us some time to build up.
So Class A is a distinction of up to 100?
The smallest of the way,
How many levels of size are there?
3.
Okay. So you'd have room to grow if you went up a class or 2.
Potentially. We don't see that on this site necessarily.
I don't believe it's permitted in your township. To be honest.
It's labeled as adjacent being vacant and residential. Do you know approximately, if you had to throw a number, you're looking for a solid one, how far are the homes from that?
The nearest home is approximately 400 feet off of the, it's hard to describe which quarter there, but off to the south.
Yep.
East.
Yeah.
That point nearest to the building site, I guess, is about 400 feet off of that.
Okay, thank you.
One thing we like about the property, there's a lot of things to like, but the seclusion of it is completely surrounded on all sides, not visible from the road or from the neighboring property.
I think I saw when you were doing something with odor control equipment.
Required by the state.
Yeah, my truck is parked backed up into his entryway, and the driveway, there's a house over here, so it's across the street.
Yeah, there's one there and then
There's a few down the road, but they're,
And then are you thinking like signage in the front, or is this like you just want to be taking care of yourself?
We are not, we're not distributing to the general public. Our product becomes part of a state registry, and basically the licensed purchasers come to us.
Do you have a timeline as far as when building dimensions and things like that might, more specifics on the building might be available?
Yeah, we are planning to sit down. In fact, Heather and I are going to talk this week and plan to sit down next week and, hopefully get him off site. He's constantly moving right now, but just to lock down more of the specifics.
Because to have a set drawing or a blueprint of the building is one of our requirements, to have some specifics to what we're placing on the lot. That's a key element to what this would be. So I can see right now it's going to be difficult to move forward without that. So if we can get that, even if we have to table it and come back next month, I'd hate to do that and have you drive here again, but it's really what's required, I think, to be able to do that specification. Anybody feel otherwise?
No, I'm in support of that. I think you have lots of good detail here. We just have to make sure that those dimensions at least fit within the other demands. It sounds like the state's going to give you enough.
And you have
Business on the other side of the exterior.
We don't look to be that way with you. We'd like to make it something we can see, approve, and then get you on to the next step if we get that detail. And we can include that.
Is there, just a question, is there a potential to move that timeline forward, or you will wait until next month?
Yeah, we would have to have the next meeting, we would have to come before it again. We'd add it to, I think it would go into old business. Is that correct, Stephen?
Yes.
And then we would just bring it up again, and with that site plan and the building, we'd be able to put the two together, and that's what we would do. So it looks like you have a lot of the details and things that we need for a lot of just the building, the key element for us. The fire marshal and different things need to, obviously, building inspector and those types of things. We have to make it so that they're happy, and they're not happy with us when we give them something that's incomplete.
I'll make a motion to table. Table SPR 21-07, BL on Speeder Road, parcel number 61-07-024-0014-00.
Give support?
Support.
All right.
So
Jesse?
we be specific for Mr. Hunter on exactly what we need? Like, it's only one thing, or is there something else?
We can give
We
you.
don't wanna go 2-3 months, you know?
Right. We can get a copy of what one of the building prints. Your builder will know exactly what we need for this. You know, just tell me you need specifics based on what needs to be, you know, building codes and that type of thing. It just, again, it just needs to be placed with the packet so that we can approve it all. They'll have all that for you.
So Steve, you can be real specific with a motion to table. What specifically Mr. Hunter needs to bring for?
Yeah, so it would just
That
be.
sounds rhetorical.
It'd be the detailed construction drawings.
All right, we have a motion and a support. Todd?
Yes.
Casey?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Jesse?
Yes.
Eddie? Yes. All right, we're gonna move, bring that back. Thank you so much.
I got to go to the hockey game for my son. Thank you all so very
Thank
much
you.
for your support. Thank you, and I'll be by and see you soon.
All right. We are up to the McDonald's at 2237 Fulton Road. Is there someone here for that?
Yeah, right here. John Fick with Progressive AE, representing McDonald's. We're here to remove the play place off the front of the store and consolidate it down to a smaller storage, more manageable. Pretty easy.
A lot of detail in your work, which is much beyond our scope of understanding, which we appreciate. And I can say, wow, there's, and every time I think we have enough, we get another drawing with something else added, so. I'm sure that's all part of the process that you have to go through for that. And it's basically inside is what you're altering. There's nothing really altering the outside, correct?
No, we're removing the whole front. play
As
place.
far as you're not expanding the building?
No, yeah, we're making it smaller. Correct.
The area that the play place was is just landscaping now?
Yeah, it'll be landscaping. I'm sure the owner operator will want to put probably a patio out there. We've asked them, but they said no, but then they always change their minds, so.
It's not like you've done this before.
Oh, yeah.
And that was done, we were asking them in the last meeting, when was the last time they did a remodel on that?
I don't know if they ever remodeled that store. That looks pretty old.
It was something that came before us before, I don't remember.
We,
Their drive-through.
we,
They added either drive-through.
They had to do
yeah, the drive-through, and we submitted one 2 years ago, so then it got put on hold, so maybe that was what you're thinking of too. Because I'm pretty sure we were all through, had permits ready, and then they push it back. Now they want to pull out the place, so.
Are there any questions that anyone would like to ask?
These two new sheets that we have here, what's different about these?
Those were provided during the work session, but they were not added to the pack that I provided over the weekend. So I printed color copies, but they weren't in the PDF file. They were dropped off as part of the application.
Probably.
One question I had, the driveway that goes between you and the home goods, the store that's there, who
Yeah.
maintains that? Is that actually something that is on their side, or is that leads into your?
I would imagine we maintain it up to the property line.
Okay.
exemplar of good neighborly deeds between the two of them. I would imagine.
Yeah. We call that the We Are the World clause.
Yeah. Fans of what Family Farm and Home shoves his snow over on that side, and they shove it back and forth, and it turns into a battle, and Jeff gets involved.
Any questions, anything anyone needs information on?
Yeah, look, this is the rest of it. I'll make a motion to approve, site plan review 21-08 for 2237 Holden Road.
Support.
All right, we have support. All right, Dave, yes? Jesse?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Casey?
Yes.
And Todd?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have nothing more on the agenda.
It is, the gentleman came in, after the public
Yeah.
comment was closed, and he made.
How do you do it?
Good,
Okay.
I'll talk to you after.
Yeah.
We'll give you your opportunity if you'd like to step forward and state your name. All right, we'll open up the public comment for you at 7:15.
Paul Teal, member, Twin Lake Gun Club, and we're floating the idea, and I'm doing the legwork of a pavilion outside the gun club. And just wondering, I've been talking to Steve, just trying to figure out what direction we gotta go to. And so I can present this to the board at the next meeting of how to build a pavilion in the gun club.
You described pavilion and for what? What would it be used for?
It's just normal club use, it's 24 by 30, 8-foot ceiling, pole barn without walls.
Okay. For the club's use.
Yes. Yep, normal club use, I mean, the club is membership.
Picnics, special events,
No.
competition, no.
Just normal club use, whatever happens at the club. So it's not like we're gonna hold outside concerts or anything like that, it's specifically club use.
Right, that's what I meant.
Yep.
So the question was raised because it's a non-conforming use. I couldn't find any variances or special uses granted. So it's always been going on there. It could technically be allowed as a special use under the current ordinance as a public park. But my question is, would a pavilion constitute an expansion of a non-conforming use? So that's something I thought the board could address. Or if you wanted a special land use and site plan review,
What was the other one before?
or use variance from the zoning board of appeals.
How much land do they own?
I believe between 120, say 110 to 140.
Okay. How much road frontage? Is it
Oh, I can
club?
quarter mile,
Yeah.
eighth of a mile,
Okay.
from the ballpark to.
Oh, okay, yeah, wow.
So, and, you know, the clubhouse, which I showed him, we did a satellite image, and we're not adding on to any building, there's a courtyard, and depending on where the membership wants to put it, we'll have to take down a couple trees, depending on where the membership wants it. So it can either go into, we have a courtyard that's kind of fenced in, you know, some of us are thinking there, some of us are thinking out towards the ski fields. But depends on what the membership wants.
How about those that have been around a little while?
So well, I'm not real familiar with non-conforming off the top of my head, I was just looking at it. So the current use is non-conforming because we don't,
We don't have any special land uses or variances.
there's not anything in our ordinance about gun clubs.
They would technically be classified as a public park, but that would require a special land use.
But fits the membership base, is it still a public park?
We do have public days because of insurance reasons over the last couple of years, we cut down our public, so it's not open every day. We have actually specific public hours now. So,
That's more on the building itself. You can't enlarge a non-conforming building.
Right, but it's not the building that's
Yeah,
not
it's not.
conforming, it's the
It's
use.
the use.
what was that section that we talked about? There was parks and public, or special,
Yeah, it was for a special land use, for a, yes, it would be 18.4, I believe, A or B. It would essentially be an accessory building for an existing legal non-conforming use, which may or may not be classified as an expansion of that use. Because there's people there that currently wait in that existing location, and
Right.
it would only be used for waiting.
Special use would seem to make sense then. You get to review the site plan.
And that's in order to build the pavilion.
You got us with a ringer.
That's why I'm hoping I bring it up to you guys.
Real cool.
That's
Yeah, this is all by plan. Now for the next 30 days, it's all we do.
I appreciate the question. I have nothing to base any idea about. I'm gonna have to do some homework and figure this out a little bit. Somebody else has got some.
So, I'm reading the 18.4A. That's the only thing that's really jumping out at me, is this whole non-conforming chapter, but that just says you can't expand an existing non-conforming building. And you can't expand or extend to occupy any portion of the land outside the building or structure, but they're not going to be occupying land that they're not occupying now, and they're not expanding a current building. It doesn't address adding structure. This is how I'm reading that paragraph.
Yeah, so it wouldn't constitute an expansion of the use if they were to add.
That's what I'm reading this one, because it's not expanding the building or expanding the use of the property. Jeff?
I don't have a particular opinion. I think that case is reasonable, that it's a special use expansion rather than inside of an occupied area they're already occupying and using, not the expansion of a special or a violation of a building. So if it came before, I mean, the decision is between coming before you for a site plan review or going for a variance to the zoning board of appeals. It seems like a reasonable case for a site plan review.
So that would be just a site plan review without a need for a special land use.
That's what I'm reading in 1840, I guess, but,
Okay.
I mean, it's just a paragraph I'm reading, I guess. To me, they're not expanding the building.
Like he said.
And that gives you roughly till the next meeting to get some answers and maybe do some research on that. I mean, to me, it sounds reasonable for a special use.
so I just need a site plan.
You need the site plan,
Building, design,
building design, and then just go through the checklist, all the things that are, and if you address the checklist that we just go through,
right?
and make sure you have all those met. It's easier for us, because then we know that it's all on there, then we just have to look at it again. I think,
But you don't know where the membership wants to put it yet, so.
Well, we were talking about it tonight also, and, you know, it's just gonna come down to the membership, and we got a meeting this week, and I'm floating the idea by them. I mean, it's not till a spring build, so, but I mean, we're not looking to build it next week, but, you know, it's gonna take a few minutes to get the membership involved and find out where we want this. And then I can specifically figure out where on the site and bring back. I just needed to know where to go, what to do. So,
So the consensus is they don't need a special land use, they can, as a non-conforming use, do the site plan review.
That's what I think. I don't think we need special uses because we're every. There.
he's not expanding a building, and they're not expanding the land, so
The occupied portion.
so I think we're best to go
You call it anything you want, a storage building without walls.
Right, well,
It's not very sophisticated.
when I talked to my daughter-in-law, she's an architect, and I was like, what do you want? I said, I want a full building without walls with no power. 8 foot tall, 24 by 20. And she just laughed. That's it.
Canopy.
Sounds like glamping, I don't know, that could be.
I don't know. Yeah, so, but I just wanted to know what direction to go so I could get going on it, so. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, now we'll-
Close that public hearing at 7:25.
Yeah, thanks.
We have a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.